So Vine also was responsible for a guy called Logan Paul. I don't know if anyone's heard of Logan Paul. So Logan Paul got big on Vine, then Vine went. He ported his entire audience, or as much of it could, onto Instagram and carried on growing it. Now, Logan Paul has nearly 10 million followers on Instagram. And he is what you call an influencer. Bit of a dirty word, but he's a marketing influencer, and he does influencer marketing. And what he does is he makes videos for his own Instagram, and then he charges companies to basically, for him to actually brand their company in one of his videos. So he will make a 30-second video about DW drum kits, for example, not his target audience, and then he'll put it on his Instagram, and 10 million girls probably, but 10 million people who are on his Instagram will then like it or comment or share it. So he did an interview recently with one of the big American papers, something like the New York Times or one of those places. And the guy who interviews him is a little bit jaded about, he obviously knows a bit about the history of him, doesn't really get it, doesn't really understand his social media thing. There's this kid who's making some decent money, and he says, right, well, let's do this interview. He says, right, you're Logan Paul, you've got 10 million people on Instagram, fantastic. You're making quite a bit of money at the moment, and I want to know how. He explains it, and he says, right, so you make 30-second clips. What do you make? So a company comes to you, like Oreo or something, and says, we want you to advertise our product. What do you make a 30-second clip about? And he says, well, I don't know, whatever I feel like. And he says, like what? And he goes, don't know, dancing? That's how flippant he is. He's like, I don't know, whatever I decide to do at the day, that's what I'll do, dancing. And the guy's like, right, okay. How much would you charge a company like that for doing a 30-second clip? Now, bearing in mind, this is a 19, 20-year-old kid with an iPhone who's making videos on his iPhone in the park of him dancing whilst marketing someone else's product. How much do you think he gets paid for that 30 seconds of him on his iPhone at 19 years old? Or 20? Give us an idea. Anyone?
20 grand.
20 grand. Not even close.
100?
$200,000. Holy shit! $200,000. He actually got paid $300,000 for one of the ones he did. Like, imagine, he just asks about. And the guy says to him, what can you do in like 7 seconds? He says, I can do anything in 7 seconds. I can make you laugh, I can make you cry, I can teach you to cook something in 7 seconds, and it'll be funny, but I can do anything in 7 seconds. And he says, what happens is, it'll go on my audience, and they'll all see it. And he goes, do you really think you're worth $200,000 for 30 seconds worth of advert? And he says, I am worth 3 times that. And you know what? He's completely right. And the reason why he's right and he is worth 3 times that is because companies are paying millions to be advertised on TV, and we literally couldn't give a shit. Like, literally, I don't watch adverts. Sky Plus, fast forward. Like, you know that thing where when you're on YouTube and it says your video will play after this advert in 5, 4, 3. You are literally hovering over that button. You're like, ah, and it goes 2, 1. And like, a second cannot go by of watching that advert more than it needs to, because you are robbed if you lose that second of that time. You're not watching the advert, you're watching the clock countdown. TV comes on, you're not watching the adverts. Even if you're forced to watch the adverts because it's actual TV and it's not Sky Plus. Adverts come on, go make a cup of tea, pick up my phone, I'm on Facebook, I'm not paying any attention whatsoever. And companies are paying millions and millions of pounds to be advertising on TV for us to literally not care at all. And so companies, when it comes to branding, there's a guy called Martin Lindstrom, and he wrote this book called Biology, B-U-Y, Biology. It's a brilliant book. He's a really, really amazing guy when it comes to branding. And he says, the thing is, the problem with all this stuff is branding and marketing has got so heavily now that it is so all around you, that we are so smart, our brains are so clever, that we literally have got to the point where we just go, nah, I'm not doing it anymore. So everything around us is now marketed. Obviously, we're in a shop, so there's obviously a lot of drum marketing, but even if you take aside the drum marketing, the speakers, which I can't see what they're made for, the lights, the Shure microphone, the shop, my t-shirt, my shoes, like everything is branding everywhere. We don't see it. We just go, no, speaker, microphone, shoes. Like, most of the stuff we don't see on a daily, our brain just cuts it out and just says, no, that's too much. I can't take all that marketing and branding, so we don't do it. However, Logan Paul is right, because Logan Paul says, I will make some content and I will have 10 million people, or up to 10 million people, will hold a phone a foot away from their face, right in their mush, and press the button, and Logan Paul is 1 foot away from your face, and he's saying, buy this product, or look at this product, or pay attention to this product. And we go, So whilst I'm not in Logan Paul's demographic, these influencers can make that much money, because while I'm not going to listen to Logan Paul, you better fucking believe it's James Hetfield I'm going to listen to him, because I love James Hetfield, or I love Biffy Clyro, or, I'm not saying they'll all do this, but they have the power to it. I don't know what James Hetfield is doing right now. He's probably shooting something, but whatever he's doing, if he pops up on my phone and says, dude, you've got to check out this new drum kit, I'm going to be like, yeah, James, because he's right in my face. So all of a sudden, advertising on TV is gone. TV is a very different ballgame to what it used to be. I have a 13-year-old boy. He is a YouTube genius. When I started doing this, I sat down and I had a tutorial with him, and I just said, tell me more about YouTube. And he told me everything. And whilst I'm sure he wasn't telling me stuff of YouTube because he's technically genius at it, but because he lives on YouTube, he told me stuff that was so valuable. Like, the reason why I asked him is because he doesn't watch TV. Like, he couldn't give a shit about TV. TV is just like, that's for old farts to watch in the evening. He carries his iPad around at all times. He lives on YouTube. He doesn't care about Facebook, he doesn't care about Snapchat. He lives in a world of YouTube, and he follows like 300 different people on YouTube. And he was saying, this guy's great, but he doesn't post enough. And this guy's kind of good, but he's a bit inconsistent with his content. This guy would be good, but he does these sorts of videos and these and these and these, and I only like these bits of videos. And I was just picking bits of information about this social media, and it was amazing. But we live in that world. We live in a world where you can now get direct marketing to someone's face via Instagram, via Snapchat, which we could never do before. And that's why TV is very different, and radio is very different. And so social media becomes this way that we can connect with people.